What's up, folks? Welcome to Math with Mr. Weeb. Today we are evaluating algebraic expressions in our Lesson 2 action task. Let's see what that task is. Here it says, each expression has the value 100 when n equals 10. What could the missing numbers be? Think of at least two possibilities for each. Now this letter A is not as complicated as it might seem at first, because really all we have is something times something equaling 100, right? All of that equals 100. That's what they want to know. And we can put anything we want to in those boxes. So if we just think of something simple, like let's say 2 times 50, right? 2 times 50 would give us 100. Then all we need, we've already got what should go in the blue box. Now we just have to figure out what goes in those two red boxes. We also already know that n equals 10. So let's rewrite what's inside those red brackets and find out what we need. Okay, we have something times 10. Let's replace the n with a 10. That's what we know the value is there. And then we have the other box, and we know that all of this has to equal 50. So we know that this first part here has to be more than 50 so that we can take something away from it. So what are we going to do? Let's take, it could be 6, it could be 7, it could be 8, anything over 5 really. So I'm going to choose 7 just for fun. So let's say it's 7 times 10 minus, and then we have 70 there, right? 7 times 10 is 70. So we would have to take away 20 in order to get to 50. So our first answer for A is going to be 2 times 7n, 2 times 7n minus 20. And that is going to be our first answer. Our second answer, we can do the same way. Something else. How about 4 times 25, right? Let's do that. So we've got 4 times 25 equals 100. Let's take just the red part and figure this out. So we've got, in these brackets, something times 10 minus something else equals 25. Okay, so now what we need to do is this needs to be larger than 25. So we could do 3, because that would be 30. We could put a 4 in here, that would be 40. Let's go with 4. Why not? So let's change this around. We've got 4 times 10, which is 40. And now we have to subtract something else. 40 take away what is 25? Well, 40 take away 10 is 30. Take away another 5 is 25. So we have to take away 15 altogether, and that will get us 25. So now we can write it all together in one. So we've got 4 times everything in red, which is 4n, right? Because we have to look back at what our original was. We have to have this variable in there. 4n minus 15, and that is our final answer right there. So we've got two possibilities. This next question can also be split into two groups. There's the blue section here and the red section here. Basically what it's saying is everything in this blue section plus everything in this red section is going to be equal to 100. Okay, so we can choose what the values are. They should probably be in groups, should be divisible by 10, because this n is 10, so something times 10. So if we put 55, that would be hard to get to because you can't really have a whole number in here. It would be nice to have a whole number. So I'm going to say something like 40. Let's say in red is 40, and the blue we want to aim at getting a 60 value in there. Let's start with the reds, just because it's a little easier. So we know that box times n is going to give us 40. We should substitute the n with a 10. That's going to be 40. And inside that box, well, it can only be a 4. 4 times 10 is going to be a 40. So now we know what goes in that first box. Next, we've got to deal with our blue stuff. So in brackets, we've got box minus n times some other box is going to give us 60. Now we get to choose. Everything in here times something here is going to give us 60. Well, what do we want to multiply this by? It could be any number we like. But I'm going to choose something like, let's say 3. Okay? So I'm going to put a 3 there inside this box. And I know it equals 60. So that means when I choose this next box, I should know what should be inside these brackets. So 3 times something is going to be 60. What is 3 times 20 should give me 60. So this has to equal 20. So this should be 30, because 30 take away 10 is going to give me 20. So inside that box, I'm going to have 30 minus 10 times 3 is going to give me 60. So there we go. Now we just put everything together, where this is my first box, second box, third box. Let's put it all together. So we've got 30 minus n times 3 plus 4n equals, and we don't have to do the equals, we're just making an expression that should have a value of 100, and we should double check to see that it does. Let's see, 30 take away 10 is going to give me 20. 20 times 3 is 60, plus 40, that gives me 100, and we do have a value of 100. Let's do one more. I'm just putting that line to make it clear that we're starting another solution. I'm going to do this next one in red. Let's do the red section again first. So we start with a box, and actually let's do the red section, make that worth 50, and make the blue section worth 50 as well, right? So we are aiming at 50 in the blue and 50 in the red, and that will give us 100. So now we'll start with the red section because it's simpler. We have a box times n, and that should give us 50. We know that the n is worth 10, and it will give us 50. So the box, what goes inside the box? It has to be 10. Sorry, it has to be 5. 5 times 10 gives us 50. There we go. Now we'll rewrite the blue section, box in brackets minus n times another box will give us 50. Okay, what do we want to multiply by? So we've got this section times this will give us 50. So we could choose some multiple or some factor of 50. We could use 2 or 5. We could use anything we like, really. I'm going to use 2. So here we go. There's 2. We know that is in the box. And now we just have to figure out what goes in these brackets. We know that the n is worth 10. Okay, so we say that everything in here has to equal 25, right? 25 times 2 gives us 50. So something take away 10 is going to give us 25. That would be 35. So in the brackets and in the box we have 35, take away 10 times 2 gives us 50. Now we just put it all together into that original expression. So we start out with 35, in brackets, 35 minus n times 2 plus, now we have the reds, 5n, and that should do it. We'll double check again to make sure it works. 35 minus 10 is 25, times 2 is 50, plus 50 here, and that does give us 100. Let's go to the last question. It says, what happens to the value of an expression if the value of the variable increases? Explain. Well, I might say something like this. Sometimes the value of an expression increases if the value of the variable increases. For example, 2n. If n were equal 3, then 2n equals 6. But if the value of n increases, let's say to n equaling 4, then 2n, 2 times n, that gives us 8. So the value increases. But there's also another case where the value can go down. Sometimes the value of an expression decreases when the value of the variable increases. For example, 10 minus n. If n equals 3, right, then 10 minus n would equal 7. But if n were to equal 4, then 10 minus n would be 6. And you can see the value of the expression decreased. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.